they're going to get the culture of Yemen to the United Kingdom. The government does not have the kind of money or the kind of resources to take care of these people, because people are reproducing, especially in countries like Pakistan. People are reproducing at a fantastic rate. And that does not happen in countries like New Zealand. What the government should do is they should have very, very clear-cut criteria. Number one, the illegals who have come, how do you send them back here? Is there a policy? Jai Hind friends, I'm Major Gaurav Arya and you're watching the Chanakya Dialogues English. Like this video, subscribe to our channel and don't forget to press the bell icon. Friends, we've been talking about immigration to Western countries for a very, very long time. When I say Western, I mean white, prosperous countries. They need not be geographically in the West. For example, just speaking about it, I mean, Australia and New Zealand, as far as the world is concerned, are Western countries. They may not be technically in the West, but they are Western countries nonetheless. So, immigration is something that we've discussed very often. We have spoken about immigration to the UK. We have spoken about immigration to Canada, specifically to the United States of America, to Australia. It seems that New Zealand has been hit extremely hard by unbridled immigration. And the New Zealanders, their government, does not know how to control it. They're just, immigrants are coming by the busloads and the truckloads and the boatloads. They're landing up and without any sort of visa, any sort of permission, they're just landing up there. And the New Zealanders don't know what to do about it. And there is a problem. I'll get into the details later, but the essential problem is that most of these illegal immigrants, many of them are economic migrants. Some of them are political migrants, no doubt. Many of them, all of them would seek asylum, because even if they've come to earn money, if you just enter any country, the UK for that matter, or any other country, and just say that, hey, I'm here to earn money, which is why I've come off a boat without a visa, people are going to throw you out. So you have to concoct a story like Khalistan, You have to concoct a story. This is something that you must do. You have to do. There is no other way around it. So you have to say that, somebody has taken away my human rights. You have to say that somebody is mistreating me. My rights are being taken away, and therefore I have come here to reclaim my rights as a human being, reclaim my human rights, etc. So this is a story that 99% of the people concoct to, get the citizenship of a prosperous country. None of these people go to Dubai, none of these people go to Singapore, none of these people go to Saudi Arabia, none of these people go to Abu Dhabi, because these, while rich countries, they're extremely strict. Just try to break a law in Singapore and you'll come to know. Try to break a law in Dubai. You'll come to know the consequences. But it is not the same for these other countries. There is an element that says that, okay, welcome, everybody welcome. And then these people, these immigrants, these illegal immigrants, then try and take over the country. So somebody is, let's say, from Sudan, or somebody is from Yemen, which is a war-torn country, and they come and they settle down in, let's say, the UK. They're going to get the culture of Yemen to the United Kingdom. They're not going to be absorbed into the culture of the UK. That's never going to happen. What they will do is, enough of them will gather around. People from Lebanon, people from Palestine, people from, maybe Yemen or Syria or Iran or some of these countries, Iraq. They'll have a similar sort of a culture. I'm not saying the same, because the culture of Lebanon is very, very different from the culture of Iraq, but a similar belief system, a similar way of living life. And then in their thousands and even in their millions, they will descend upon a country and then change the culture area by area, corner by corner, city block by city block. They will change the culture, and that is always the attempt, never to integrate. Many people have said that what is the secret of the Indian diaspora? So of course, education is a big secret. Work ethic is a big secret. That the Indians work very hard. They are highly educated. They speak English, most of them. But apart from that, one thing which many people miss is that an Indian will integrate into your culture. If an Indian goes to Australia, he will make Australian friends. He will attempt to learn the culture. He will learn to become, if I may say, Australian. I'm giving an example. Same with English. He will attempt to become British. He will maintain his religion. He will maintain his culture also. He might go annually, or she might go annually to India. That's a separate case. But what they will try here to do is make sure that they are decent guests, if you know what I mean. Now, what New Zealand is facing is an existential crisis, and people are up in arms and they're saying, where have all these guys come from, these illegal immigrants? Now, apparently what has happened is that immediate change announced by the New Zealand government to the AEWV scheme, which is the Accredited Employer Worker Visa. Scheme aimed to attract needed skills and reduce migrant vulnerability to exploitation. Focus on stricter English language proficiency requirements and shorter visa duration for low-skilled workers, etc., etc. Now, the government says that there is unsustainable net migration to the New Zealand. Unsustainable. The government has thrown up its hands and it's saying that we cannot sustain this. We do not have the resources to take care of so many people. They just come in droves and they never stop and they come wave by wave after wave. And Immigration Minister emphasizes the importance of immigration settings for economic rebuilding. Applicants for most work visas are now required to meet minimum skills and work experience. So, what they're saying is that, hey, we are stuck with this. We are stuck with all these immigrants coming here. Of course, that means unemployment, right? That means, and New Zealand is a small economy. It's a very small country with a very small population. But it's a first world country in the sense that there is nice infrastructure, there is a rule of law, and there is everything else that a person would require. So, yeah, people end up in New Zealand also. But at that point in time, the New Zealand government does not know. One of the reasons why Canada, I'm going to Canada now, Canada has faced a very bad housing crisis. For various reasons, one of them is Justin Trudeau, of course. You cannot negate that bit about Justin Trudeau's incompetence. But also the fact that at the end of the day, you see, there is so much of immigration into Canada that there isn't enough housing for everybody. Though Canada is a super large country, it's massive, it's larger than India in terms of land size, but there are so many people, there aren't enough houses in Canada, and these people just keep on landing up in Canada one after the other. Also, in Western countries, the birth rate is very low. You go to all these white countries, I'm just being very blunt and calling them white countries because they're largely white. The birth rate is very low, but if you go especially to countries in the Middle East, the more the poverty, the more the kids. I mean, there is one guy, I think it was a BBC documentary or some other documentary but I remember British. There's this Pakistani family with, I think, 12 children of 14 kids. Yeah. And all 14 kids born in UK. So it's not like they shifted with 14 kids. He had one wife and then he had 14 kids, and every year this woman would give birth to one child. And he actually has 14 kids. So that, after 20 years, 25 years, there are 14 families. One family came and suddenly you have 14 families. And there are so many other people. I mean, people from Yemen, 6 to 8 children, right? Pakistanis, they just keep reproducing at this fantastic rate. And in their home countries, there is not enough space to take care of all of them. There is not enough, the government does not have that kind of money or the kind of resources to take care of these people because people are reproducing, especially in countries like Pakistan. People are reproducing at a fantastic rate. And that does not happen in countries like New Zealand. So suddenly a guy lands up and then he lands up with a complete boat of 300 people and apparently all of them are related. You never know. It could just be one extended family, 300 people off a boat. And they land up in New Zealand and say, hey, we're here. And what do you do about it? Because if you try to throw them out, you're a racist. If they commit a crime or if they do anything else and you arrest them, then you're a racist. If they do anything, you'll probably get labeled with the Islamophobia tag. So the best thing is, most of these countries, they tend to keep a low profile and they say, okay, we don't want to do anything about it. People are wary of taking action because people don't want to be branded as racists or Islamophobes. And this is exactly the card that these guys play on, most of these illegal immigrants. And here, focus on high-skilled migrants. Now, what New Zealand wants is high-skilled migrants, such as secondary teachers, to address skill shortages. Emphasis on putting New Zealanders first for jobs with no skills shortages. So, what they should do, the government should do, is they should have very, very clear-cut criteria. Number one, the illegals who have come, how do you send them back here? Is there a policy? How can you send them back? Because if you don't stop them, they'll just keep on coming. They will not stop and they will not. I'm sorry I'm saying this again and again. It's not meant to be inhumane. It's just the truth. I don't mean to be inhumane while talking about this. But many of these people coming from poor countries, right, especially Yemen, Syria, Pakistan and all, they will simply not stop reproducing. They will continue to reproduce. You'll have so many kids running around that Britain is facing this problem. Pakistanis have very large families, fantastic families with huge numbers of kids. Most of them on social support. The government pays for them, either some few £100 a month, and that's enough to keep the family going here. Now, the Prime Minister of New Zealand, of course, expresses concern over high migration rates, deeming them unsustainable. New visa rules aim to address concerns about influx of migrants. Tightening of visa rules to mitigate potential inflation pressure and housing market issues. Like I said, and there are people from India who are also going. And I'll say this as an Indian. If Indians land up anywhere, and if they're illegals, you send them right back. I don't care. I'm not going to say that just because he's an Indian, he should be given any special treatment. No. As an Indian, I don't like Bangladeshis and I don't like illegals, of course. Bangladeshis are our friends. But I don't like these illegal immigrants like the Rohingyas and the illegal Bangladeshis coming into our country. I don't like it. Similarly, I also understand the concerns of a New Zealand or an Australia or a Canada or a UK or a US in saying that these guys just land up here. No, absolutely not. Even if they're Indians, throw them out. No mercy. They're saying Employer Concerns and Balancing Act. Employers express worry about potential unintended effects of new visa rules, concerned about making it harder for motivated workers to enter New Zealand and its impact on the economy, need to strike a balance between attracting skilled workers and safeguarding against exploitation. You know, this whole thing about these Western countries saying, we need to feel for other people. Please, I would request the New Zealand government, please start feeling for New Zealanders. You have been elected by New Zealanders. You've been put in that place, in that hot seat of power by New Zealanders. Take care of them. Forget about the other people from the rest of the world who are trying to enter your country. Please forget about them. They are not your responsibility. They are not your responsibility. If you think they are, they're going to sink your country. And it does not matter. It does not matter where they come from, even if they come from India. They are not your responsibility. Don't get into this nonsense. Your country will sink. Most of the Indians, 90% of them, who originally come from India are irresponsible people. In America, the Indians are the highest earning community. They're the highest tax-paying community in the US. Per capita, highest incomes. So if that is the kind of immigrant that you're getting, welcome. But unfortunately, even Khalistanis are from India. And Khalistanis can't spell their own name. They're stupid, most of them. And they're criminals and they're drug addicts and they're contract killers. And they're immigration scammers. And if you let them into your country, you can say tata bye-bye. Just like Justin Trudeau is. Now, ladies and gentlemen, for some question and answers. The first question is from Shakti Kesavan. Recently, the UK sent their defense forces to POK, probably to pressure India for something. How should we respond? Should we airstrike POK while they're still there? No, I don't think the UK sent their defense forces to POK. Mr. Shakti Kesavan, I don't think that's true. I don't think the UK has sent its forces to POK. No. They would have just sent their forces to Pakistan for a joint exercise or something like that. Or their Navy for a joint exercise, because these multilateral exercises keep going on. India also takes part. Every country takes part. But if you say that the UK army actually came inside POK, I don't think that's true, sir. Because this is a hell of a thing to do. And UK would have to spend the rest of their life, their ministers and their bureaucrats would have to spend the rest of their life explaining what the hell their forces were doing on Indian territory. India does not take very kindly to all this nonsense. Here's the thing. There's a lot of stuff floating around on social media which is untrue here. A lot of stuff. People just make up stuff. People just float a rumor and we tend to believe because we have been groomed, Indians have been groomed ever since childhood to believe in the written word. Whatever is written, we believe it. That is our first instinct. I would say question everything. Don't believe random stuff like this. Karthik Subramaniam, Namaste Gaurav ji, Jai Hind. Namaste Karthik ji, Jai Hind to you too. We all know about India and France arming Armenia, with India giving Pinaka missiles and anti-aircraft guns and ensuring its conflict with Azerbaijan or Nagorno-Karabakh zone. Oh, okay, very good. Since Russia couldn't help them, assuming due to their priority on Ukraine, but with Armenia seeking to expand their weapons import with France being involved too, is it possible Armenia might consider an alliance with NATO just like Ukraine did? Being in close proximity to Russia, I don't think Russia would allow that to happen. What are your thoughts? I don't think Armenia would do that. But then you never know. See, I can't say for sure, but I don't think. It does not look likely that Armenia will, say that we want to join NATO. There are a lot of factors for that. The primary factor is everybody has seen what happened to Ukraine, number one. And number two, you see, joining Ukraine complicates it for everybody. Now, even before offering NATO membership to a country, NATO will think 10 times. What are going to be the repercussions? First of all, they were just distributing it. But now they're going to be very, very careful because they've seen what Russia has done to Ukraine. 25% of their country is gone to the Russians. With that, ladies and gentlemen, I'll come to the end of today's video. Thank you very much for watching. And if you like this video, press the like button, subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to press the bell icon. Jai Hind, Vande Mataram, Bharat Mata Ki Jai.